Loyalty doesn't die when people stop caring about you. It dies when they start caring about someone else more. You think betrayal happens in moments of hatred. It doesn't. Betrayal happens in moments of new love, new opportunity, new emotion that eclipses whatever they felt for you. The person who swore they'd never leave you didn't lie. They meant it at the time. But emotions are tides, and when new emotions roll in, old loyalties drown. This is the truth nobody wants to hear. Loyalty is not permanent, it's conditional, and the condition is always emotional. Most people betray not because they're evil. They betray because they feel something stronger than what bound them to you. And if you don't understand this, if you still believe in unconditional loyalty, you're going to be blindsided again and again by people you trusted completely. This is the truth about loyalty, and it's going to change how you trust forever. What you're about to learn will make you lonely before it makes you powerful. Because once you see how loyalty actually works, not how fairy tales say it works, but how it operates in the flesh and blood reality of human psychology, you can never unsee it. Most people live their entire lives believing in permanent bonds, believing that love, friendship, and commitment are immune to emotional shifts. They build their worlds on this fantasy. You're different. You're here because something already broke that illusion for you. Someone you trusted completely betrayed you when you least expected it. And now you want answers. The answer is this. Loyalty is an emotional contract that expires the moment stronger emotions arrive. This knowledge is dangerous. It will make you skeptical. It will make you guarded. But it will also make you unbreakable. Because you can't be betrayed by what you already understand. Comment, emotions are tides, if you've already learned this lesson the hard way.
Principle 1. The hierarchy of emotion. Human beings are not rational creatures. They're emotional creatures who rationalize. And in the hierarchy of human motivation, new emotions always outrank old loyalties. Think about it. The friend who promised to always have your back, where is he now? He met a woman. His loyalty to you didn't disappear because he stopped caring, it got demoted. The new emotion was stronger, so the old commitment became negotiable. The business partner who swore you were in this together, why did she take the other offer? Not because she hated you, because the new opportunity triggered emotions of security, status, excitement that your partnership no longer provided. This is the law. Loyalty is always ranked against competing emotions, and it only wins when it's the strongest emotion in the moment. Machiavelli understood this completely. He wrote that men are fickle, and their loyalty lasts only as long as you're useful to them. But it's deeper than utility. It's emotional utility. You remain valuable only as long as the emotions you provide are stronger than competing emotional offers. Real-world application. Stop expecting permanent loyalty from anyone. Instead, understand that loyalty must be maintained through continuous emotional investment. If you're not providing emotional value, security, excitement, belonging, purpose, someone else will, and loyalty will follow the stronger emotion. Here's how to protect yourself. Diversify your emotional dependencies. Never make one person the single source of your emotional stability. The moment you do, you've given them complete power to destroy you through betrayal. Build a life where no single person's loyalty determines your survival. Friends, family, partners, value them, but never need them to the point where their betrayal breaks you. The warning? This mindset can make you cynical. You might start seeing everyone as disloyal by default. Don't. The goal isn't to trust no one, it's to trust wisely, knowing that loyalty is conditional and preparing accordingly. Principle 2. The return of the prodigal emotion. Betrayal often happens when old emotions return to people who moved on. Your ex-girlfriend left you for someone new. She was done, completely over you, loyal to her new relationship. Then one day, she sees you, successful, transformed, different, and suddenly old emotions return. Nostalgia, regret, desire. Now she's torn. Her current loyalty is tested by the return of past emotion. And if the returning emotion is strong enough, she'll betray her current situation to reclaim what she lost. This is why people cheat with exes more than strangers. The emotional pathways already exist. Reopening them is easier than building new ones. This pattern extends beyond romance. The employee who left your company, he's loyal to his new job until his old boss calls, offering something better. And now old emotions return. Familiarity, nostalgia for the team, memories of purpose. And suddenly, his new loyalty is negotiable. The friend who drifted away, he's loyal to his new friend group until he goes through crisis and remembers you were there for him before. Old emotions return. And now he's back, expecting loyalty from you that he didn't maintain. Here's the dark truth. People don't betray their current loyalties for new emotions only. They also betray them when old emotions resurface stronger than they expected. Application: understand that you can weaponize this. If someone was once loyal to you and left, you can potentially trigger the return of old emotions to pull them back. But ask yourself, do you want loyalty that's this unstable? More importantly, protect yourself from your own returning emotions. That person who betrayed you? When nostalgia hits and old feelings resurface, you'll be tempted to forgive, to reconcile, to give them another chance. Remember why they left for the first place. Emotions returned, but circumstances rarely change. The twist? Sometimes the person betraying their current situation to return to you will betray you again when the next strong emotion arrives. Patterns repeat. People who leave rarely stop leaving.
Principle 3. Loyalty as transaction. Every relationship is transactional. Every single one. This isn't cynicism, it's observation. People remain loyal as long as the transaction feels fair. The moment the exchange becomes unbalanced, when they're giving more than receiving, loyalty begins to erode. You think your best friend is loyal to you out of pure love? Partly, but also because you provide something: emotional support, entertainment, shared history, mutual benefit. The day you stop providing value, loyalty weakens. Not immediately, there's emotional residue that buys time. But eventually, transactional imbalance kills loyalty. Look at marriages. The vow is till death. The reality is till one person feels they're giving more than they're getting. The moment the emotional or practical transaction feels unfair, loyalty becomes vulnerable to outside offers. This is why affairs happen. The betrayed partner often asks, "What did I do wrong?" Often, nothing specific, but the cumulative transaction became unbalanced. One person felt undervalued, underappreciated, underdesired. Someone else offered a better transaction. Loyalty followed the better deal. Machiavelli wrote that mercenaries are unreliable because they fight only for money. But everyone is a mercenary for something. Some for money, some for status, some for emotional validation. Everyone has a price, and that price is whatever emotional or practical need they value most. Application: maintain transactional balance in relationships you care about. If someone is loyal to you, make sure they're receiving value, not just material, but emotional, appreciation, recognition, support, presence. Don't be the person who takes loyalty for granted while providing nothing in return. That's how you lose people. Also recognize when you're in an unfair transaction. If you're giving far more than you're receiving, your loyalty is being exploited. Either rebalance or exit. Staying out of obligation when the transaction is broken is self-betrayal. The warning: viewing relationships as transactions can strip them of magic and meaning. You'll start calculating everything. I did this for them. What have they done for me? This destroys intimacy. The balance is this: understand the transactional reality while not leading with it. Be generous but not exploited. Be loyal but not stupid.
Principle 4. Emotional amnesia. People forget how they felt when circumstances change. The friend who supported you during your darkest time, he was loyal then, deeply loyal. He felt your pain. He showed up. 5 years later, you're both successful. He doesn't remember the depth of that bond anymore. His emotions have changed. He has new priorities, new friends, new problems. The loyalty he felt during your crisis has faded because the emotions that created it are gone. This is emotional amnesia. The feeling that created loyalty disappears, and with it, the loyalty itself. This is why people who survive trauma together have unbreakable bonds until the trauma fades. Veterans who would die for each other during war sometimes drift apart in peacetime. The emotion that forged loyalty was survival fear and brotherhood under fire. When those emotions disappear, the loyalty becomes a memory, not a felt reality. In relationships, couples who overcome hardship together often have stronger bonds, temporarily. But if they don't continue creating new emotional experiences, they live off the fading residue of old emotions. Eventually, emotional amnesia sets in. They forget why they fought so hard to stay together. And when new emotions arrive, old loyalty can't compete. Here's the mechanism. Emotions create loyalty, but emotions fade. And when emotions fade, loyalty becomes a story you tell yourself, not a feeling you experience. Stories are weak compared to current emotions. Real-world application. If you want lasting loyalty from others, you can't rely on past emotional experiences alone. You must continue creating new emotional reasons for loyalty. Shared experiences, new challenges overcome together, continuous emotional investment. For yourself, recognize when you're staying loyal to someone out of emotional memory rather than current emotion. If the only reason you're loyal is, "We've been through so much together," but you're no longer experiencing positive emotions in the relationship, you're running on fumes. That's not loyalty, it's inertia. The dark side. You can exploit emotional amnesia. People who once wronged you but forgot how deeply they hurt you will come back expecting reconciliation. They've forgotten the emotion of guilt. You haven't forgotten the emotion of betrayal. This asymmetry gives you power, but also makes forgiveness nearly impossible. Warning. Emotional amnesia works both ways. You'll forget how people showed up for you. You'll forget the loyalty others demonstrated when you needed it. Don't let success erase memory. Keep records, journals, photos, reminders of who was there, because your emotions will try to rewrite history.
Principle 5. The loyalty illusion. Most loyalty is imaginary. It's something we project onto people, not something they actually possess. You think someone is loyal to you? What you mean is, this person hasn't had a strong enough reason to betray me yet. That's not loyalty. That's the absence of temptation. Real loyalty is only proven when temptation arrives and is rejected. Until tested, all loyalty is hypothetical. Think about how many loyal friends disappear when you actually need them. Were they disloyal, or were they never loyal to begin with? They were friendly, pleasant, available when it cost nothing. But loyalty requires cost, and when cost appeared, so did their true nature. The business partner who seemed loyal, was he loyal, or just aligned with your mutual interests? The moment interests diverged, the loyalty evaporated. It was never loyalty. It was temporary alignment mistaken for devotion. This is the illusion. We see consistency as loyalty, but consistency without testing proves nothing. Machiavelli warned against this. He said you never know who your true friends are until fortune changes. When you're powerful, everyone seems loyal. When you fall, you discover who was genuinely loyal versus who was just benefiting from proximity to power. Application.
Stop assuming loyalty. Test it, not through manipulation, but through observing behavior when stakes appear. When you're in crisis, who shows up? When you're broke, who's still around? When you have nothing to offer, who remains? That's when you see real loyalty versus the illusion of it. For yourself, recognize that much of your own loyalty might be illusory. You're loyal to your company until a better offer comes. You're loyal to your partner until someone more attractive shows interest. You're loyal to your principles until they become inconvenient. Don't lie to yourself about your own loyalty. If it hasn't been tested under real temptation, you don't actually know how loyal you are. The warning: testing loyalty too aggressively destroys relationships. If you're constantly creating tests to verify loyalty, you'll push people away. The testing itself becomes betrayal. You're demonstrating that you don't trust them, which erodes their loyalty to you. The balance? Observe naturally occurring tests. Life provides them. You don't need to manufacture them.
Principle 6. Loyalty decay. Loyalty has a half-life. It degrades over time without maintenance. Even the strongest loyalty doesn't last forever without reinforcement. This is biology. Emotional bonds physically weaken in the brain when not regularly activated. Think about childhood friends. You were inseparable, loyal to death. 20 years later, you barely talk. What happened? Nothing dramatic, just time and distance. Loyalty decayed naturally because it wasn't maintained. This is why long-distance relationships fail. Not because of physical separation, but because loyalty requires regular emotional maintenance. Phone calls and texts aren't enough. The emotional bond physically weakens without in-person reinforcement. The same principle applies to all relationships. Your parents' loyalty to you is strongest when you're young and dependent. As you age and need them less, if you don't actively maintain the relationship, loyalty decays. They'll still love you, but the intensity of loyalty, the willingness to sacrifice for you, diminishes. In business, employee loyalty decays without regular reinforcement through recognition, compensation, purpose. You can't buy loyalty once and expect it to last. It must be renewed continuously. Here's the harsh reality. People who were once willing to die for you might not answer your call 3 years later. Not because they hate you, because loyalty wasn't maintained and it decayed to nothing. Application. If you want sustained loyalty from anyone, you must actively maintain it. Regular contact, shared experiences, emotional investment, demonstrated care. This isn't manipulation, it's relationship physics. Bonds require energy to maintain. Stop providing energy, and entropy takes over. For your own loyalty, recognize when it's decaying. That friend you haven't called in months? The loyalty is fading. If you care about the relationship, reinvest. If you don't, accept that the bond is dying and let it go without guilt. The strategic angle. You can identify who values your loyalty by who invests in maintaining it. People who regularly reach out, create opportunities to connect, and invest time in the relationship are signaling that your loyalty matters to them. People who don't are signaling through inaction that loyalty has already decayed on their end. Warning: some relationships should decay. Not every bond deserves maintenance. Trying to keep every loyalty alive is exhausting and impossible. Choose which loyalties are worth the energy and let the others fade naturally.
Principle 7. The loyalty paradox. The people most likely to betray you are those closest to you, because they're the only ones who can. Strangers can't betray you. They never had your trust. Acquaintances can disappoint you, but that's not betrayal. Only those who hold loyalty can break it. This is why the deepest wounds come from family, close friends and romantic partners. They had access, they had trust, they had loyalty, and they weaponized it. Judas had to be a disciple to betray Christ. Brutus had to be a friend to kill Caesar. The most devastating betrayals in history came from inner circles. This creates a paradox. The closer you let someone get, the more power you give them to destroy you through betrayal. But distance prevents the depth of connection that makes life meaningful. The solution isn't isolation, it's strategic vulnerability. Machiavelli wrote that a prince should have few close friends and many useful acquaintances, not because friendship is bad, but because every close bond is a potential vulnerability. Application. Understand that intimacy creates betrayal risk. Accept this trade-off consciously. When you let someone into your inner circle, you're gambling that the loyalty will hold. Sometimes it does, often it doesn't, but the gamble is necessary for human connection. What you can control is this: don't give everyone access. Have tiers of trust. Most people stay in the outer circles. Very few enter the inner sanctum. And even those in the inner circle, never make them your only source of emotional stability. Diversify your dependencies so that any single betrayal, while painful, isn't fatal. For yourself, recognize your own capacity for betrayal. You're capable of it too. We all are. Under the right emotional circumstances, with the right temptation, you could betray people you currently claim to be loyal to. This isn't to excuse betrayal. It's to remain humble about your own fallibility. The warning. Some people interpret this principle as permission to betray before being betrayed. I'll hurt them first, so they can't hurt me. This is cowardice disguised as strategy. The true application is different. Accept the risk of betrayal as the cost of meaningful relationships. Protect yourself strategically, but don't destroy connection out of paranoia.
Principle 8. Emotional sovereignty. The final truth about loyalty. The only person who will never betray you is yourself. And even that's not guaranteed. Most people outsource their emotional stability to others. They need external loyalty to feel secure. This is why betrayal destroys them. Their emotional foundation was built on someone else's loyalty. Emotional sovereignty means building your foundation on yourself, your values, your purpose, your self-loyalty. When you're emotionally sovereign, external betrayal can't shatter you. It hurts, yes, but it doesn't break you. Because your core identity isn't dependent on anyone else's loyalty. This is what Stoics understood. Epictetus taught that nothing external can harm you, only your reaction to it. Betrayal is external. Your response is internal and under your control. Machiavelli, in his darker wisdom, understood the same principle. The ruler who depends on others' loyalty is weak. The ruler who depends on his own strength is secure. Application. Build a life where you're the primary source of your own emotional stability. Have relationships, yes. Value loyalty, absolutely, but don't require it for your survival. This means developing self-reliance, financial independence so you're not trapped by economic loyalty, emotional independence so you're not destroyed by social betrayal, spiritual independence so your meaning isn't tied to others' validation. When you achieve emotional sovereignty, you paradoxically become more attractive to loyal people, because secure people attract loyalty. Desperate people repel it. Here's the practice. Spend time alone regularly, not as punishment, but as training. Get comfortable with your own company. Build internal strength that doesn't require external reinforcement. Journal, reflect, know yourself deeply, because self-knowledge prevents self-betrayal, the worst kind. The final warning: emotional sovereignty can become isolation if taken too far. You can become so self-sufficient that you no longer connect with anyone. That's not strength, it's fear. The goal is balance, strong enough to survive betrayal, but open enough to risk connection. Emotionally sovereign, but not emotionally isolated.
Loyalty is beautiful. It's one of the few things that makes human existence tolerable. But it's not permanent, it's not unconditional, and it's not guaranteed. Emotions create loyalty, and emotions are tides. They come, they go, they shift with the moon of circumstance. The person who swears loyalty to you today might betray you tomorrow, not because they're evil, because new emotions arrived, because old emotions returned, because the transaction became unbalanced, because loyalty decayed from neglect. This isn't cynicism, it's clarity. You can spend your life pretending loyalty is permanent and be shocked by every betrayal, or you can understand the mechanism, protect yourself strategically, and build a life that survives the inevitable moments when loyalty breaks. Most people choose the first path. They trust blindly, get betrayed, feel destroyed, and then trust blindly again, an endless cycle of pain and confusion. You're choosing the second path, understanding without bitterness, preparation without paranoia, protection without isolation. The loneliness you feel right now, knowing these truths, is the price of wisdom. Not everyone pays it. Most people prefer comfortable delusion to uncomfortable truth. But you're not most people. You're someone who sees reality clearly, who understands that loyalty is conditional, who knows that emotions create and destroy bonds. And because you understand this, you can navigate relationships strategically. Value loyalty where it exists, maintain it consciously, but never depend on it completely. Build your life on your own foundation. Make yourself the constant. Let others be variables. This is how you survive in a world where emotions are tides and loyalty drowns when new waves arrive. Trust wisely, love carefully, expect nothing, and never forget, the only loyalty you can truly control is your own. Even then, watch yourself closely, because betrayal starts in the mirror before it reaches the world.